With PayPal being one of the biggest online payment giant in the e-commerce industry, chances are that you've been a victim of a buyer scam. In this video, I'll teach you how I fought and won PayPal's attempt to collect $3,318 through the use of a collection agency. But first, a disclaimer. This is how I won my PayPal case. Consider this advice from a complete stranger online. Ultimately, you'll make your own decisions. Now, I've been selling on eBay since 2004, and on 2013, I sold a South African gold bullion for $1,638. I made my first mistake when the buyer asked me to ship the coin to another address. I only shipped to the USA. However, after this guy won and paid for the coin, he asked me if I could ship the coin to Japan. Something you should know that I didn't at the time is that PayPal won't protect you if you ship the item to a different address. Now, I didn't knew that at the time. I thought that if they paid for the item, it could be shipped to whatever place they want. I asked him to pay for the additional shipping, of course, and sent it express mail fully insured. Now my second mistake happened when the buyer emailed me again and tells me I'll buy your second bullion coin. I'll send you the money from my cousin's account, and he asked me if I could ship the coin to the same address he gave me last time. Now I bought those two coins with the intention of reselling them, and after subtracting eBay and PayPal's fees, I will only make around $100. If you ever invest in coins, investing $3,000 to earn $100 is a bad deal. 3 days, the item arrives to Japan. I immediately emailed the buyer. He tells me he called the recipient and failed due to the time zone differences. No problem. A few days later, I received an email that the buyer had filed a chargeback with his credit card company. What a chargeback is basically that the buyer never authorized the payment. Bank takes the money from PayPal and PayPal tries to take the money from my account. However, I had already withdrawn all my money, so now my PayPal balance became a negative balance. I wrote an email to the buyer asking him what had happened, which he responded with this: "No, I do nothing with the payment. Please specify the problem." I tell him, "You made a credit card chargeback." He emails me, "I can solve this. I will talk to him." Of course, I knew then and there he was a crook. I lost the case because PayPal almost never defends the seller. Soon after, the collection agency started calling. Now here's my first advice: never pick up their calls and wait for them to send you a letter in the mail. I'll go off topic for a minute in order to make my point. I had a gym membership that required me, in order for me to be able to cancel, I had to send a cancellation notice to their main offices in Florida. So for the month of May, I sent them a cancellation notice with signature confirmation and paid for the month of May in full. I also went to my local bank and told them I thought my credit card might have been compromised. I asked them to change my number so they could no longer collect money through direct debit. When I originally signed the contract, they asked me for a number for emergency purposes only. For the next months, they were harassing my emergency number trying to get in contact with me. My emergency contact never gave them my information. They tried calling my house. I never once picked up their phone calls. I knew they were a collection agency sent by my gym to try and squeeze any amount of money they could out of me. I used a phone app called Lookup Plus, and what that app does, it reveals the information about who's calling you. They broke many laws trying to get in contact with me, such as revealing to third parties that they were a collection agency, saying I supposedly owed them X amount of money, and that they were going to sue me. By law, you can't reveal that you're a collection agency to third parties. You can only call to locate that person who owes that debt. You can't reveal any amount of debt. You can't threaten to sue someone unless you're planning on following through. What I did was I changed my phone numbers at $30 a piece. They never sent me a letter. It's been 3 years and my credit is fine. You can check your credit for free using Credit Karma. Now, why were they calling me instead of sending me a letter? Because they had nothing against me and were only fishing for victims. So as long as you don't talk to them, you won't give them any information they can use against you. These guys are trained rats and liars that will say just about anything to get you to pay money, whether you legitimately owe it or not. Going back to the subject at hand, PayPal collection agencies started calling me. I never once pick up their phone calls. The next week after their first call, I finally get the letter in the mail. I'll summarize a little bit. We are writing to you regarding your PayPal account. This account has been placed with our office for collection. As of the date of this letter, you owe $3,318. Unless you notify this office within 30 days after receiving this notice that you dispute the validity of this debt or any portion of thereof. By law, in the United States, you get up to 30 days to dispute the debt after receiving the collections agency letter in the mail. If you don't dispute the debt, it is then assumed you owe it. If you do dispute it, and they can't come up with any evidence that you owe the debt in 30 days after you written them that you are disputing the debt, they can never damage your credit report or attempt to collect that debt again. So when you're writing a letter disputing their claims, I want you to ask for these things. What the money you say I owe is for. Explain and show me how you calculated what you say I owe. Provide me with copies of any papers that show I agree to pay what you say I owe. Provide verification or copy of any judgment if applicable. Identify the original creditor. Proof that the statute of limitations has not expired on this account. Show me that you are a licensed collector in my state and provide me with your license number and registered agent. If your office are able to provide the proper documentation as requested, I will require at least 30 days to investigate this information, and during such time, a collection activity must cease and desist. So by doing this, by investing time in myself and learning how to defend myself against collection agency, I managed to save myself a lot of money. Collection agencies are rotten to the core. They don't care if you legitimately owe the debt or not. They work on commission and they just want to get paid. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and comment if you have been harassed by a collection agency. I hope you have a great day.